The fuck is that smile?
I'm getting my podcast guest face on. Yeah, well, you
Oh.
hate us, son.
That's how you get ready?
Oh, so you say hello to the show.
Bulbasaurus.
Show
The
my pleasure that
Bulbasaurus.
I'm back on VGLX.
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 Games Life Extreme. Extreme talking. Welcome to the next episode of VGXL. My name is Daniel, aka Games. Joining me again today is the beautiful Fefer from the channel Fefer, and returning to help me on this episode is Ezra and Marvin from the Idiot Ezra podcast. What's up, guys?
What's going on?
Man.
If you're not already following, you can follow me at VGXL podcast or Video Games X Life everywhere else. And where can we follow you guys at? Ezra and Marvin.
Well, you can follow me on Twitter at Idiot Ezra and on the Twitch at Idiot Ezra. Everywhere Idiot Ezra. Anywhere you see an idiot and an Ezra, that's me.
That's you?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm trying to claim that domain.
Anyways, we can start arguments at El Gumby. That's EL Gumby 7 on Twitter.
All right, and Fefer?
You can find me on Twitter, Fefer Plays, and as you said, Fefer on Twitch.
Oh, thank you. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. It feels good to have you back. How does it feel to be back? Do you feel amazing?
Fabulous.
Are your nipples hard right now?
Can you see it? Oh, okay, I was afraid. All right. Feels good. And Happy New Year, guys. Feels good to be back. And especially to talk about the big mega news in the gaming world today. It feels explosive to be back.
Yo. Calm down. Damn, blowing your load
Everyone
already.
knows what the
Excited.
deal is. Everyone knows what they're here for.
You still gotta tease it a little bit, just a little bit.
I didn't say anything. I just said it was big news. I can talk about anything. I could talk about whatever I believe that's big news in the gaming world, right? I didn't show no tips or anything like that.
No tits. You should show more tits. And what's going on with you, Marvin? How was your New Year's?
It sucked.
It sucked?
It was,
What?
yeah, it was very old manish. I just stayed in the crib.
Oh, I feel you. Yeah. That happens. I mean, we don't do much either. We go to my parents' house, and it's the same thing we've been doing for like 16 years.
Yep. And we were all sick this year too.
Oh
so.
yeah. Well, we had the Rona. We had the Omicron.
Yep.
Oh, you had it?
Yeah, we shared it together actually, right, Daniel? we shared the same COVID this coming into the new year.
Pretty much, yeah. I heard your podcast when you mentioned that you had a job lined up. You were gonna work that for New Year's Eve, and damn, and then you had to cancel it because you were sick.
I had to cancel the work I had lined up. I had to cancel my job interviews. COVID just hit me right at the perfect time to screw up my life a little bit longer.
Oh man, yeah. If you guys want to hear the rest of that story, it was down there. Well, not you guys. You already put out the episode, right? So I think it's the episode before your next one.
Yeah.
All right. So come on. All right. I guess we did enough. We did enough foreplay here. I guess we can move on. So today is January 18th, and the big news came out this morning. And I thought I was scrolling through Twitter, and I'm like, and I see somebody post. I'm like, nah, get the fuck out of here. And I'm like, and then I'm like, wait. And I click on another person. I'm like, oh shit, fucking Microsoft buys fucking Activision. I was like, they didn't fucking do it. I was like, nah, no way. They're in talks. Then I see fucking Phil Spencer tweet about it, and I was like, wow, this shit is really official. Like, that shit blew my fucking mind. I wanted to hear your thoughts, Marvin, because as the resident Sony pony, what were your thoughts on this whole thing?
Honestly, it blew mine. Just because literally the day before, there was the rumor that GTA 6 will be Game Pass. It'll be Xbox exclusive.
I saw that. Yeah.
And I'm like, these motherfuckers ain't spending no billions to buy no goddamn exclusivity for GTA 6. And then this shit happens. I'm like, Jesus Christ. But I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little fearful for the future if this deal does go through.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the simple fact that, like, whatever happens with Xbox, like, it needs to show now. Like, before it was like, yeah, we'll get there eventually type shit. But now that you're throwing tens of billions of dollars, like they have to show out now. They have to show numbers. They have to like. It can't just be like, oh, we added 1 million subscribers the last 4 months. It has to be like we added 10, 12, whatever.
Yeah.
Because now you're gonna have other shareholders like, yo, why the fuck are we throwing all this money at this shit that's not proven right now?
It's true. It was true. I was thinking about that too. And the thing is that everyone was spouting the numbers 30 million, 30 million. And I'm like, and then it was only 25 million that they hit, which is, it's a good number, obviously. But I'm like, it definitely got to be closer. I'm sure they 100.
Where did you get 25 million?
I swear it was like I saw it. It was official.
The last number that he gave was like 19 million.
Oh, yeah.
That was like weeks ago.
I also saw 25 million.
Yeah, they announced it today that they hit 25 million.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was higher. So you thought, oh yeah, that's true. It was like 18, 19 million for a while there, right? I forgot.
Yeah,
about
he
that.
literally just said it like a couple weeks ago.
You know what it is that people be saying this shit so much, so it's just like I probably just.
Well, no, that 30 million shit was when the Take-Two fucking CEO was fucking with Phil. He was like, hey, so how many subscribers does Game Pass have, huh? And he was like, is it 30 million? And he was like, our official number is 19. He didn't say nothing else.
Wow. Oh, well, so I guess they're doing pretty good. I know that number needs to be at least closer to 100. They want to hit them Netflix numbers, I'm sure.
Yeah, but the thing with those numbers is they never say that they're concurrent. So it could just be whoever signed up since day one, which means absolutely nothing if people are just like, I'll sign up. Like, they got a deal right now. 3 months for $1. And it doesn't matter who the fuck you are. It doesn't matter if you did it before, if you're a new person, whatever. We give you 3 months right now for $1. So if you get 3 million people that brand new that jump on that shit, your number inflates magically by 3. But if they're gone after 3 months, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true. What about you, Ezra? What did you think when you heard that? Because I texted that to you, you sound pretty surprised.
I thought multiple things. Like it reminded me like I'm a big sports guy. It reminded me like a big sports trade, like something mega happened. Like imagine when Alex Rodriguez got traded to the Yankees, or when something like that. It's like everyone starts talking about it. That's where it reminded me of when you sent me that link, and I was driving and I was reading the link. I'm like, no, I gotta call him. I gotta call you, Daniel. I'm like, tell me what I just read on that link. It says Microsoft bought Activision. And he was like, nah, it's true. I was like, oh shit, like this is a momentum shifting in the gaming world move.
Yep.
Okay, this is a mega fucking move here, and I've always talked about over the years, and I think people have always talked about how much money Microsoft has, but never really flexed it when it came to the gaming world.
Yep,
and
that's true.
And today, they said, this is who the fuck we are. We could do this if we want. They're a $2 trillion market cap company. 2.2. Okay? They only dropped 3% of their market cap on Activision. They had $130 billion in cash flow, so they spent a little bit more than half to grab Activision. So they have $130 billion, just cash, right? Sony as a whole is worth $156 billion. Just shows you the disparity of how much money and capabilities that Microsoft could have done something for a long time, and today they flexed it. Okay, Sony and Nintendo is almost impossible to make this kind of move. It's almost incapable. It wouldn't be a purchase; it would be a merger if that were to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it has repercussions long term, and I think it gives Microsoft leverage. I think it's a big gut punch to Sony and potentially these other gaming, companies with this purchase and what the moves they could potentially make here. And I think they have leverage in negotiations now with Sony if they want to move forward with certain things. And
but let's not forget that this is going to be a gut punch to the revenue that they would normally bring in before the purchase if they decide to keep these as exclusives.
Well, I think everyone has their own version. I think they already came out, and it makes sense what they already said, and I don't know if you want to talk about it now, Daniel, but they already came out and said, hey, we're going to keep most of these games on PlayStation, and we're going to add some of these games to Game Pass. Like, they're going to come up with their own business structure, and it only makes sense to keep these big titles on Sony because they could slowly build up Game Pass. I don't think they need to come out with the numbers like Marvin was saying so fast, because as long as they're keeping some of these big titles on Sony, you're still bringing in revenue, and you can also create exclusive content for your Game Pass or spin-offs. You know what I mean? Let's say you just say, you know what? Call of Duty zombie mode is only going to be exclusive to Game Pass now. You could do things like that, or you can make a spin-off, an MCU universe off of Call of Duty now with your Game Pass service. There's just so many levers they can pull down. And let's say Microsoft wants to come out with a cross-platform new game, right? And they're telling Sony, hey, we want to come out with this cross-platform. And before, cross-play, Sony would say no. But now Sony has the leverage. Microsoft has the leverage to say, well, if you don't want to do it, we'll just make it exclusive. And now you're making your owners, your PC owners, very upset. You know what I mean? They can pull levers now going forward. They have leverage over Sony in some aspects.
It's true,
in this industry.
Especially the way Sony treated the industry and was waving their dick around. They've been doing that shit with Call of Duty for a couple of years now, and it's funny that you mentioned the whole zombie thing. That's literally what they did with Black Ops Cold War. They blocked out. There was only on PlayStation could you. It wasn't a crazy mode, but it was still fun. It was a 2-player zombie mode, and you can play on almost any of the maps. Just doing waves of zombies, no missions. It was simple, but it was still fun. And when
it was a survivor mode, right? I believe, or something like that.
Yeah, you just have to survive waves. That's it. With a little mini boss every so often. That's it. No other. You know how the other zombie modes have like all these different things you can do, objectives you can do. This was like no objective, just kill the monsters in different maps, and they blocked it as a Sony exclusive for a whole year. But I'm like, that's such a bullshit move when everyone jumps to the next one the following year. I mean, I don't know about Vanguard, but now that's gonna finally stop, which is awesome. But yeah, I've been having this argument throughout the day because I was all over Twitter just reading all the discourse, and pretty much everyone thinks, I don't know, I really don't see if Call of Duty goes exclusive, it's not gonna be for a few years, because it's like, number one,
it makes no sense to me.
Exactly. PlayStation's the biggest place for people to play that. Warzone is still going to be a moneymaker. That's going to be their main platform for adding new content and keeping players. So it's like they usually go hand in hand. You get the game and they add the stuff to Warzone. If you disconnect that, it's going to kill Warzone on PlayStation. I think you're going to kill, if they do it too soon, it's going to kill the franchise, because a lot of people refuse to, either don't have the money or refuse. And then you're talking about children as well, like my son and his boys. They're 12 13-year-olds who are not going to have access to this because they're still going to want PlayStation. Parents are not going to say, okay, you know what, it's possible, but again, if they, I think it's going to be a while, if at all, that they'll that Call of Duty goes to exclusively to the Xbox and PC. So I really don't, there's too much microtransactions to be, everyone's like, what about Elder Scrolls? What about, Starfield? I'm like, but those are single player games, and they're day one sales that you can make up with those Game Pass signups. You're making it up there, and and some Xbox sales. No one's really caring that much. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, they're not losing that much. You're talking about potentially maybe 500 million they make if it sells like crazy. I'm being optimistic here. If it's sold like crazy, they probably make up to $1 billion total, where microtransactions from Call of Duty, first of all, sales, I'm sure sales will drop because it'll be on Game Pass, but let's say they make half. It'll be 250 million they make just from sales, plus probably a couple of billion from microtransactions. They're not throwing that away because they want to make it exclusive. I just don't see them throwing it away. It would have to be like the only way I see that happening is that PC and Xbox have grown substantially in user base. Game Pass is through the roof. Then they could say, you know what, fuck you, Sony. We have nothing to worry about at this point. But I really don't see. Maybe next generation, like next gen, we may not get Call of Duty on a PlayStation. But I don't see it leaving this generation.
Yo, Dan, you're a funny guy. You know that?
Why? Why's that?
Because you're acting like before Sony was doing the exclusive shit with Call of Duty, it wasn't Microsoft that was doing exclusive shit with Call of Duty.
I'm not acting. That's
The
fanboy
time
shit.
exclusives
That's a
with the
fanboy
maps,
mentality.
early
Stop that
maps,
shit.
and all that.
I'm not
Let's
saying.
stop bullshitting.
No, I'm not. I'm saying it'll stop. They're gonna do it now. They're gonna do it back to them. That's what I'm saying. They're gonna just do it again. I've always been one that I remember
you're
when
acting like Sony was the first ones
I'm
to
not
get
acting like
exclusive shit out of Call of Duty.
Well, if that's what you got from that, that's not what I meant by that. What I meant is that they've been doing it because they've been the market leader for a minute now, and they got those deals. So it's just like they were doing it. I don't blame them for that. I'm just saying it sucked. It sucks. I hate exclusivity. I'm sorry. No, excuse me. I don't hate exclusivity like Spider-Man only being on PlayStation or something like that. I hate timed exclusive for modes, like the way they lock Destiny. PlayStation. I've always hated PlayStation for that, and Xbox. You know, locking a specific mode for a year is trash to me. No matter who does it, it's not. You know, it's not about. You know, I'm shitting on just PlayStation. If Microsoft, if and when Microsoft does it, that's gonna suck too. But fuck out of here. That's fanboy mentality.
Oh, I don't care. I mean, if you want your company to pay to keep you, it is what it is.
No, I mean you're
You
right.
know what I'm saying? Like
You're right.
that's the perks of going with that brand.
Yeah.
You know, if they're doing what they can to keep you there. So I don't care. If you don't like it, then don't buy it.
No, I mean
it comes down
you're
to.
right. I like it's just modes. Like having exclusive games, that's fine. It brings value to the money I spent. So being able to play games that are only going to be on Xbox or even just PC. I have an Xbox that we've actually been using a lot more because I love I play at my desk a lot, but you could legit what brings value, and the only thing that brings value is if you have a setup where you play at your desk, you get the best. You know, I want to see my video card being put to work, but sometimes sitting here is fucking trash. I want to sit on my couch, and I enjoy being able to that whole cross-site play anywhere shit is dope. I'm like that's probably the biggest reason I have an Xbox. Other than that, it's this is bringing value to it now. So that's why I'm like. I like exclusive games, but modes, that's the shit that I've always hated.
Yeah, but the thing is, when it's a mode that nobody cares about, like to this day, I never played that shit.
No, I know, but it was I think I was more mad during Destiny, which is funny. That I was thinking about it. If Destiny would have stayed with Activision, they would have imagine they would have went back to Bungie would have been back with Microsoft at least for a little while. I mean, they never really owned them, right? They were always separate. It was always just a deal for them to publish games for them, but it would have been funny if Bungie ended up back with Microsoft through this deal or whatnot. But Sony did that with Destiny, where they were locking strikes for like a whole year from Destiny. I thought that was trash because I'm like, yo, it had little content to begin with, and then it was locked on the PlayStation. So I'm like, I played it on PlayStation. I was still mad about it. I still didn't care for it. I'm like, that sucks for Xbox players or anybody else.
Happened again.
Because you're making a big deal. So are you telling me that you don't? You like you find it acceptable rather if like game modes and stuff are locked, for a year and shit like that?
I mean, timed exclusivity, I don't care, man. I don't care if I got it, I got it. If I don't, I don't. Now, the one thing I will say that did piss me off to the point where I decided to just not buy the game is the shit that happened with Psychonauts 2.
Oh,
they were like, all right, we'll make it in 4K for the Series X, and we'll just leave it the PS4 version for PS5.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. That's so stupid. It's like, really? Like, it's like, I'm sure it's like a line of code that just tells it to upscale or whatever. Like, that's...
Nah, it's going to be more than that. But the whole thing is, like, you're publishing this multiplat. Like, that's like, imagine if the same shit happened with MLB. I would understand if motherfuckers were furious about it. But... now you're gonna do this. I was like, nah, like, if I want the game, I'm willing to buy it from a Microsoft game at full price. Like Ori, the second Ori, I bought it at full price. But with this shit, I paid for Psychonauts on 2 different platforms. I was like, I'm not gonna buy part 2. Fuck that. Unless it's like $20.
Yeah, it's pretty trash to fucking block a resolution. Make a resolution exclusive and some fidelity. Like, come on, that's the type of shit that I'm just like, that's so corny to me. Like, I don't know, that's just bad. But either way, it's whatever. So yeah. So the other thing I want to touch on that you mentioned, Marv, was the whole fact that like, I just hope that things don't get fucked up because, like you said, like anything that happens with them now, it's like I don't know. Do you think there's a possibility that any of these games could get like, I don't know, mismanaged at this point? Is there
I don't think mismanaged. My biggest thing though is whatever they decide to keep as exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
What's gonna happen to that? Because we've already seen like the monetization happening with Xbox games in particular. Monetization in Gears, monetization in Halo. Fucking, you can't. You're gonna get nowhere near all of the cars when you buy the fucking base Horizon game.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So like, how is it gonna change these games for what they would have been? Although it's Activision, so they're fucking terrible people to begin with. But is it gonna get worse than what it would have been? You know what I mean?
Exactly. I was thinking that because I mean, at the very least, Sony has minimal microtransactions in their games, where this shit is like Microsoft went all in with that shit. I mean, it makes sense to buy a microtransaction company too because it's like you had mentioned that, Ezra, like that's how they're gonna recoup, right?
Well, that's why I mentioned before. You keep the games that you could get micro. I always told you. Me and you spoke off camera a while ago.
Yeah.
I said Microsoft's day and date games. People, the gaming community makes a big deal about it, and I said it's kind of overrated because they put microtransaction day and date games on their Game Pass, so they can afford the initial purchase. For giving that up because they're going to make the money up via microtransactions. So with this purchase, you're going to put most of your games that I'm guessing they're microtransactions into your Game Pass, or you take some exclusive games, right? Like I said, I think it's going to be a hybrid. Diablo is going to be exclusive to Microsoft. That's it. It's not going to go to Sony. Whatever handpicked games they're going to pick go to Game Pass, they know the business model is going to be microtransactions, but the big titles like Call of Duty still going to sell like hotcakes maybe on Sony. You keep that and you use that as a leverage in the future. If you want to negotiate with Sony and Sony says, "Nah, we good." Well, I got Call of Duty. You want Call of Duty on your platform? You got to negotiate with me. So I think they're going to use this as, like I said, leverage, and they can still use this as a very profitable business model while gradually growing their Game Pass and handpicking, games for Game Pass and things like that. I have an explosive prediction way down the line because of this deal, but we'll save that for later.
Oh, got a hot take?
And it's a prediction, not a hot take. Prediction here. That's it.
Oh, I like predictions.
But I think I don't want to undersell because Marvin brought it up. If this deal goes through, you know what I mean? This is not the largest gaming purchase in history. It is the largest tech deal in history. It has surpassed Dell purchasing EMC for $67 billion. This one surpassed it with $68.7 billion. This purchase was. This is the largest tech deal in history. So we don't know if and video games is such a global business that other territories might say, you know what, I don't know about this. They're gonna go through some lawyers, and this is gonna be a process. I think Microsoft already said they predict it's gonna be a late 2023 completion of this purchase. So this is going to be a process, and they're going to have to go through the courts to make sure this goes completed. In my prediction, I think it'll get completed because it seems like all these monopoly fucking companies, when it comes to Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, they've just been able to buy whatever the fuck they want this last couple years. So I think this will go through, especially because this is a growth, division within Microsoft, and the gaming world still is, has a lot of competition per se. But I think this is a domino effect that will Sony respond, start buying, other studios? Will they say, we got to up our budget for exclusive games? Or will this consolidate more and more with all these purchases? Because this is not the only big purchase in gaming this past week. We also had Take-Two purchasing the mobile company.
Zynga.
Mm-hmm. So we don't know if this is just going to lead to more consolidation within the community. And you know what? That kind of bothers me. So in some ways, even though, like I said, this is a big, exciting news for the gaming world and the potential of Microsoft and all that, it still bothers me because I love competition. And if you consolidate and that's less competition, then you can control pricing, you can control the marketplace, things of that nature. So it's a slippery slope. That's the thing I'm worried about overall for the gaming space, that it leads to this domino effect.
Hey, Daniel.
Yep.
What happens if Call of Duty isn't $60 next year?
What do you mean? It'll be what, 70? You mean?
If it's owned by Microsoft, I should be seeing $60 games because they're pro-consumer.
Microsoft is hardly pro-consumer, but yeah, you're right. They're putting out the illusion of being pro-consumer. You're right.
I heard all Microsoft games are going to be $60. So I should see Call of Duty for $60.
I hope so. Me too. Shit, but I'm probably gonna play it on Game Pass anyway, so that shit's gonna save me a couple of dollars. Cause
this deal still doesn't convert me like that.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see some. I really want to see some change. I mean, like I said, everyone's people are thinking that Microsoft's gonna be a little lighter, and they don't have to answer to the shareholders as much. So maybe microtransactions can calm down a bit, but. Like you said, they need those microtransactions to make up for this money, to make up for Game Pass and all that shit. So,
I think that's a little overstated because I just said in the beginning they are a $2 trillion company. They don't have the pressure of,
right.
Let's say if Sony or Nintendo made this purchase, they wouldn't have the pressure of those other companies because that will be a make or break, purchase for those companies. For Microsoft, let's say this is a debacle. Let's say this shit is a shit show. Microsoft will be okay.
Right.
Microsoft.
It ain't about the company being okay. It's about the motherfuckers that make money behind the shares saying,
I know the
why
shareholders,
the fuck
but
ain't I making more money?
But the thing is, the CEO has a proven track record. They're gonna give him patience. They're gonna listen to him because all he's done was bring Microsoft from under $1 trillion to a $2.2 trillion in valuation. Okay,
yes,
this is the second.
He's got that, and it was fine when they were spending like $3 billion here, $7 billion here.
You think
but
that's
now
all they
it's $70 billion now?
Okay, that's all right, but they're gonna listen to.
This
him.
is from a division that for years wasn't making more than 12. It was making less than $12 billion a year. So,
but this is not.
Are these numbers gonna jump up?
They don't need to jump up this year or next year. I don't think it needs to be a 2-year process to be like, oh, Microsoft needs to justify this now because they're going to believe in his vision. This is a 10-year, 20-year vision that we have here to build up Game Pass or this ecosystem that we want to build here because the gaming world is when it comes to entertainment dollars, I think is number 1 or number 2. It's like insane how much. It's way bigger than the movie business by a lot. It's not even close. And
number 1 in entertainment.
So they know it's a growth division, and they're gonna believe in him going forward because he's created other growth factors for Microsoft. But they're just gonna believe him.
I'll tell you why that I'm not you're right. They may not need the money, but it doesn't make Microsoft that great. Look at the whole fucking bullshit with Halo. Like this is their franchise. This is like they're supposed to be their system seller, and the way they've handled this shit. First of all, delaying it a year, I thought, okay, all right, fine. That takes balls, blah blah blah. But then the game was still subpar, and then the multiplayer, the campaign, then the multiplayer, as fun as it is, I've had a lot of fun on that shit, is lacking. Like, and then the microtransactions are fucking trash. $10 for cat ears. Like I'm sorry, you're trying to make a comeback. And they're supposed to be, like you said, pro-consumer and not so anti. But then your biggest franchise, you're letting it be some shitty Activision style, like a way of doing things. And even Call of Duty is not that bad. Like I feel like at least you have more options of if you want to buy stuff. But their battle pass was trash. Their store was complete garbage and expensive. That now they're finally lowering prices from some article I saw. So it's like that's why I question. Like, I hope it means that we're going to see better things, and there's not, like you said, there's not as much pressure. They have tons of money. They don't need to put so much pressure in build, but it's like in their own games, they're making stupid-ass mistakes. So that's why I'm like, hopefully,
I never said I never stated Microsoft is a great gaming company or all this. They're not going to make any mistakes. I'm just talking about the financial
Right.
aspects and things like that. And of course, they want to make their money back. And of course, shareholders is always gonna, always bitch about, hey, where's the numbers at? You may just made this big purchase of things of that nature. I'm just saying, I know that he has more leeway than most other companies would have for making this type of purchase, and they're gonna chase the dollar. This is why they're a $2 trillion company, because they're always chasing the dollar. That's the name of the game here, and this is a big growth factor for them because they already control, other, sectors in the tech field, obviously in cloud, and then when it comes to the office and things of that nature.
Right. What do you think, Fefer? Sorry, I didn't mean to
I mean,
cut
as
you off.
long as they give me Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, we good. You want to throw in some Guitar Hero, DJ Hero? We gonna bring that back? Okay.
Never gonna do it. Never gonna do it. They're not spending licensing fees for that.
They're a $2 trillion company. They might pay for it.
I still have the guitars. I want to use them still.
Yo, Guitar Hero on Game Pass.
VR. Don't worry, you're gonna get Candy Crush VR. Don't worry about it.
Oh yes.
Okay.
VR, Xbox. Come on. Man.
Oh man.
Another Connect.
But I don't know, man. Like, all right. I want to say it's a hot take. I won't even and not a prediction, whatever. Just if this doesn't go over that well with the amount of studios that they have, I can see them easily transitioning over to something without a console.
Yeah. I feel like that's like the fallback. Like if they die in the console space, then it's like, hey, your PlayStation, can we?
Wait, didn't I make a prediction on Video Games X Life a while ago saying I think they want out of the console space? I've said that a while ago.
Maybe. I don't remember
and
what
my
I did
prediction,
yesterday,
to piggyback, my prediction when I was saying my explosive prediction is maybe not this generation, maybe after next generation they say we want out of console, and they go to Sony and they say, you know what? Let's say everything works out. They have the leverage. They still have these. Sony, Game Pass has to be on PlayStation if you want these games.
I can see that.
How's that gonna help Sony?
What do you mean? By bringing their games to Sony. Let's say if they say no.
Listen, it's fantastic that you have the #1 game every year, but I only get 30% of that. With it on Game Pass, I'm getting 30% of whatever Game Pass is. So unless the Game Pass numbers are ridiculous, it hurts my bottom line. Like this is kind of like the whole shit with the PlayStation should have all their games on PC day and date BS.
No, I just said next generation. At the end of that would be what, 14 years from now. So we don't know what the gaming space is going to look like at all. And they might tell Sony, we'll get out of the console game, but you got to put Game Pass on your system. It could be a deal like that. I'm just saying there could be something of that nature saying, you never know. Game Pass could be so big, but I'm just saying potentially, I'm not saying I'm predicting that they say you got to put it on your Sony system. You got to put it on your Sony system because you're going to alienate, half the gamers out there that play these games.
I think
they might have they could have a leverage like that in the future. But like I said, that's 14 years from now.
Right.
I don't know what the deal is. I'm just saying that's a prediction, a super, bold prediction. That's what I'm going with.
Well, to respond to that, based on what Phil Spencer has said, he wants it to be where especially xCloud to be everywhere, right? Like he wants that to be like in TVs. He's hoping for a dongle one day where just like like a Fire Stick where you plug it in, boom, you have Xbox games. They still haven't solved the latency issue yet, but if there ever is a low latency solution, which funny enough, ZeniMax was actually coming out with that. That was literally like one of the last things that before they got bought out. I think 2019, it was ZeniMax showed off that they were coming out with their own cloud solution with super low latency that could be played on mobile. If that ever rolls out, I forgot the fucking name of it, but if that was to ever roll out and that actually worked the way they say, then I could see them having leverage. If they can solve that, then they could say, we're gonna not put Call of Duty on. If we're assuming that all these games stay relevant, like Overwatch is still becomes hot again, Diablo's still hot, and everything that made Activision World of Warcraft makes some massive comeback somehow. Then I could see that happening where they're like, you want access to this on your thing, you need Game Pass. If not, then we continue. I mean, there's they have PC, and PC will take over because really and truly, that's all they really need is PC. And if cloud gaming works, then that means any $500, $400 PC will be perfect for that shit. And then you have things like Steam Deck coming out, and that's a monster that we haven't even seen, in action yet. So
that monster, oh my god.
Mobile,
Danny, you a funny guy.
Mobile is a big deal. Look at the Switch.
That monster.
You're getting.
It hasn't even come out yet. They'll come out with a monster with that Steam Deck.
You literally.
You want it to be a monster.
It's not that I want. First of all, it has like it's gonna have 16 gigs like DDR6 RAM, which is like some of the.
Talk about its specs and all that stuff.
Which is
it has to sell to be a monster.
And then your whole Steam library is available. I'm telling you, when people start seeing it in action, all the nerds are showing it off. You know
what? I think you're an investor. I think you got equity in the Steam Deck. I'm starting to think that. I think you own about 8% of Steam Deck, and you out here pushing these streets. Hey, if that's the case, sponsor the Idiot Ezra podcast, and we'll represent every episode.
I can't wait a year from now when we're doing our January 2023 episode, and
you're the only one with a Steam Deck.
Yo,
I don't have one too.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I'm the only one. That shit's gonna be fire. I'm telling you, it's gonna be fire. I'm telling you.
But then why you lying to viewers like this, man?
Because look at the fucking Switch.
This is not the Steam Deck. Nothing to do with the Steam Deck. Just your little comment that like, oh, they fall back on PC. PC is all they need. PC doesn't buy games, son. Stop playing.
No, what I mean, what I'm saying.
No, they don't. Like, there's no. When was the
I'm
last
talking about
time
Game
you
Pass.
Seen...
All you need is Game Pass, because that's what my.
on PC.
I'm talking about. Microsoft's strategy is Game Pass. According to them, what they've said, there's not an assumption or anything. Phil Spencer said, Game Pass is what we want. We're not in the market of selling consoles anymore. That's a low priority. The highest priority right now is Game Pass. That's the priority. So getting content, buying all this content to put on Game Pass. So what I'm saying is, to Ezra's point, it was about, if they ever
cloud
gaming would have to be perfect, and like so that you could run it on any little dongle or on a low budget PC, because people aren't spending $1,000, $1,500 just to play a couple of games. So if you have Call of Duty that runs great over the cloud, that is, again, we're talking about years away when they there's an issue that's not been solved yet. Then I could see a potential of them going to Sony and saying, put this shit on PlayStation, or we keep it on PC. And that's what I meant by that's all they really need. They still will always have a hardware solution, even if they stop making Xboxes. PCs are still there, so you have those options. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I thought you were talking about buying games for a second.
No, you're right.
I want to ask you, do you think Sony should, and how should they respond to this going forward?
I don't know. Everyone's like saying to buy, like they should buy somebody out. I mean, I think they just need to keep doing what they're doing. Spartacus, apparently Cerny solved the whole backward compatibility thing. So I mean, we got to see how they're.
It's just a patent, man. There's nothing.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's not there. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not there yet. But Spartacus is supposed to offer that, and it's just interesting that there's the Project Spartacus, which is their solution to Game Pass, which I don't understand why they don't just market PS Now a little bit more. But whatever, they're it's gonna have PS3 and PS2 games or whatever. And then on top of that, now this patents come out about, the whole whatever he's doing with the
PS
CPU.
Now already has all the PS2, PS3 games. That's what PS Now was for.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I'm like, why don't they just market that shit now? It's $60 and you get a whole ton of shit. And latency on the PS5 isn't that bad for streaming PS3 games. I was playing a few games and it was all right. But
honestly, the changes that I think might come with that might be with fucking either movies or animes being the Funimation / Crunchyroll being added somewhere somehow.
That makes sense. I think you guys have mentioned, or me and Ezra said that off stream once. That if they did a whole like media solution, I think that would be pretty dope. or whatever, on top of maybe some better games, and they need to add PS5 games to the thing. I just don't see it yet unless their hand is really, forced. But I don't know what they could do. I mean, who else? Do they buy another company? I don't know.
Do they invest more into first party? Like in the end, I guess it's about the games, right? If you invest,
I think they're doing pretty damn good, and they have a lot coming out soon. And as long as they keep up, maybe buy a couple of other small studios and just have the games pumping out. That's really all they need. And if they,
you know what they don't really, what Sony really don't. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong. They don't have that. How can I say, multiplayer microtransaction monster under their belt.
Not that I'm aware of, right? No, right?
And
I think the last one they had. Actually, no, I'm lying. The one that they do have is really just MLB.
Oh, I see. That's true.
I don't know. I guess.
I mean, it's a multiplayer and it's the biggest one they got. All right, let's put it that way.
The only one they got. I mean,
right.
I'm just saying.
The one before that, I guess you could kind of say it was the factions multiplayer from The Last of Us Part 1.
Yeah,
that had microtransactions.
They don't have an Apex. They don't have a Fortnite. They don't have a Warzone. A GTA Online. They don't have. I think they might have to venture out and have a studio to work on some things like that, because it seems like the big titles, the big money makers, are those type of titles, and they might have to attack that and be creative with it. Because that's where the big titles, and they've already spoken. We're gonna invest more into our first person. We're all gonna be about our big budget games, right? That's what they announced. I don't know if that strategy is gonna change a little bit because of this news. And how many big, like, let's say if you are unlimited budget, let's say you have Microsoft's budget, and they did. What other studio is there? EA is the other huge one, and I don't even know if anybody likes EA, but that's the other huge one left.
Yeah.
What is other?
Big... And Square, everybody wants Square. If they I think if they were gonna do something, I would say Square would be the one that I would want them to buy. If they can afford them, I don't know, because I'm not sure how big Square's. I mean, with Final Fantasy 14, I mean, they make tons of money just with that alone. And we're not talking about their mobile division, and
that's a multiplayer, micro. Oh, that's a subscription model.
That's
right?
a subscription model, but you got 22 million people on paying, guaranteed.
I'm just saying it's a big game. It's a big seller and all that.
And it has minor microtransactions, nothing crazy. But then, then they have their microtransaction games. They still have. It's not doing well, but if it ever did do well, you still have Avengers, and you have. They have a bunch of microtransaction games already. Plus, their mobile division is pretty high up there. So I feel like that would be their smartest move, because I forgot who said it. Was saying that one of the smarter things besides the IPs they get from Activision, Microsoft didn't really have a mobile solution. So now they're in the mobile space now, on phones or whatever, because of King, right? Candy Crush or whatever. So now they have. So Sony has some games on mobile, but it's not. It's nothing crazy. So I think we could somebody who has that would be their best bet, and I could see that totally being fucking Square, or tell Kojima, fuck that. Can we buy you out, please, and only make games for us? Because the rumor is that you signed intent to make a game for Xbox. So I feel like they could start with that, like, or Konami, beg Konami for their IPs. If they could somehow secure a licensing deal with Konami, I think that would be a big deal too. Like, only put, get a Metal Gear remake, get Silent Hills fucking remade already, like they're supposed to. Like, if they could, that's what everyone's saying. I think if they could tap into that Japanese market, get some of those IPs, or really work out bigger deals over there, that's all they would. Not that that's all, but that would be a big punch back to Microsoft, because you're not getting those Japanese games on there, because their install base is trash still in Japan.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, I think it will have to be. They got to start building up some of these,
I agree, though. I think they totally need a multiplayer. That's the one thing they're missing. They're missing that big multiplayer game that's gonna pull people in. It's gonna keep them in their ecosystem. And
SOCOM making a comeback, right?
That's the word on the street. But again,
well, I think one of the new acquisitions is supposed to be working on a multiplayer. I know Guerrilla is supposed to be working on a multiplayer also.
Yeah, and we're still waiting for that Last of Us multiplayer that's supposedly still promised. So,
but this type of deal doesn't not particularly against Sony, but I'm just talking about as a gaming community. Does this type of deal bother you guys at all? I haven't heard you really say anything like. Do you think this is a negative effect overall in the gaming community?
Personally, I don't like it. Just the consolidation aspect of it. Like, you buy your little company here, there, it's fine. But once you're buying publishers,
And this is, I think some people could say this is the biggest publisher out there, right?
yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? It's like they didn't go for a middle dog. They went for the top dog out there. And I think, I like I said, I don't like that because I love competition.
Yeah.
And I think there should be more competition.
From that side of things, yeah. From a gaming standpoint, I really don't. I don't give a shit about Activision like that. I play Call of Duty, but I really don't. I play on PC, so I really don't give a fuck. Where it goes and exclusive or what or whatever. But the same thing, like the whole consolidation thing is a little scary, and and they're not the what you call it, the people who make Borderlands. What are their names?
Take-Two?
No, not Take-Two.
I mean, 2K is under Take-Two.
Right. But it's the actual studio got bought out.
Oh, Gearbox.
Yeah, they got purchased by another company as well. So it's happening everywhere. So it's like, I don't know. I don't care for it because then it starts it starts to get crazy, and microtransactions are already fucking annoying as fuck. So it's like, that's probably the biggest thing I don't like about it.
I'm just wondering, does let's say Amazon says, you know what? Damn, I see Microsoft's.
Oh shit, you're right. I could see that.
I see
happening.
Microsoft's strategy here. You know what? Tomorrow, let's buy Take-Two. And you know what? Take-Two's pretty cheap compared to Activision. Take-Two right now market cap is $18 billion. Let's say they say, you know what? We're gonna pay $30 billion for Take-Two. Amazon or Sony could buy. Sony could buy a Take-Two or Nintendo or things of that nature. I'm just worried about this snowball effect, saying these other companies, okay, if Microsoft is going to go out here and buy big boys, let's consolidate this. And
I feel like there's one more.
Corners. You're just going to create corners in the gaming market if that's the case. If everybody's going to be like, all right, get this, and it's going to be exclusive.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
I don't know, B. I think I've missed the fucking tweet. I saw it earlier that somebody was like, "Oh, if you think this was big news, just wait till the end of the week, or wait." Well, yeah, we're almost there. Well, it's Tuesday, right? So yeah, they were like, "Wait till later this week, or wait, wait to see what's coming." So there's gonna be more news coming out. I don't think this is the end of it. But I don't know. I really don't care for. I've seen this happen in so many industries already, and it's like it's never good. It's never good. All the cell phone companies and all the cable companies, and they all start closing up, and it's like now gaming is getting there too. I don't know. I'm not a fan.
It's just it could be a big momentum shifting move for the gaming world, and I'm scared. I'm a little scared about it. I'm not gonna lie. Even though, like I said, I got excited because there was a sports fan.
Yeah, exactly. Like I liked hearing the news, but now that the adrenaline's calmed down,
I'm worried.
Yeah.
I'm worried. What could happen in this space? And hopefully, I don't know if I want to trust Microsoft. Like I said, they're a monopoly in some sense.
Yep.
Like Microsoft has been. It's funny when they first came out. I mean, the government used to go after them hard because they were a monopoly and antitrust, things they were doing and things of that nature. Over the years, I guess they've become somewhat of an underdog in the tech space, but they're a $2 trillion company and they control a lot of spaces in the tech world. They can still, be their monopoly size. It's because they took a lot of L's over the years and now they're just growing and growing again. And I think people need to watch out for Microsoft and what their DNA was in the beginning. They're like they're a monster.
Exactly. I just don't. It's like hopefully the talent stays at these companies, and maybe now that they'll be treated a little bit better and maybe given a little more leeway, the talent will. What?
I was gonna say that is the big question mark because we've been seeing people just like I don't know. I know that people leave companies all the time, but it just seems like lately been seeing more from Xbox Game Studios and with weird situations. Like you had the guys on Halo that were leaving mid development.
Yep.
You had the guy the guy from what was their the little quadruple A fucking studio they always kept talking about, the new one? The one that's doing Perfect Dark?
Oh, I forgot the name.
Whatever. That guy left before
The-
the game even fucking came out. You got the guy from Playgrounds that literally left as soon as fucking Horizon 5 shipped. So it's like it's weird. It's just very weird timing to see these departures.
Yeah. All right. Pfeffer, I think you're gonna head out.
Yep.
Yeah,
Gotta
you
go stream.
Just gonna go stream on Twitch. All right. Well, thanks for joining us and listening to us. I know we were just yapping over here, but I appreciate
Well, I think
you.
can I ask you, Pfeffer, a question? I think in a positive light here, with Microsoft buying Activision, we could get this scumbag CEO eventually out of that piece of shit, right?
Oh, yeah.
Out of Activision.
Yeah, once it's all
That's
done,
got to be
he's
the
out of
move
there.
here, right? That's got to be the first move they make once this thing is completed, right?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think anybody's gonna accept him staying in there at all.
And he's
at
not
all.
going to be the boss. He's definitely not going to be the boss
Nope.
at all. Phil Spencer already said. I mean, they already announced he's the CEO of the gaming division at Microsoft, and with all this controversy and all the shit that he pulled over there, he's got to go.
Absolutely. Yep. Get him out of there.
Give him the boot. Well, Pfeffer, have a great stream.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. But yeah, like you were saying, that there was those. It was crazy when they got rid of the 2 directors from Halo. But that's what I'm saying. After that whole year of waiting, it feels like what the fuck were they gonna release? I'm so curious what they were gonna release at the end of 2020. Like, what the fuck were you guys gonna drop that month? That a whole year later, and it feels like. I mean, yeah, it's a solid game. It's tight, but that's all they did. So it's like, I guess maybe it was just groundwork they were laying. I don't know. I just think that the microtransactions should have waited, and that's what worries me. It's just like, yeah, that I don't know. They put to me they gave the perception of we care. We're trying to fix our image. We want things. Then why the fuck did you release Halo like that? Like, why not? You already were this late. I don't know. It was just such a bad move in my opinion. That's kind of like what. Like I'm excited, but not so much for the future because I thought better things were gonna come from this Halo game. Like it was too big to fail. It shouldn't, it's their system. So it should have been a giant ass game. I don't know. It should have been perfection, and it wasn't. So that's what worries me. Hopefully they keep talent, they hire talent, and going back to what we were talking about before with Sony, I think Sony, if they're not buying people, then they need to get talent into their studios and say, come build a game for us or whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's what we're seeing now with the PC games. Because, like, from the David Jaffe interview with the Days Gone guys, Sony has changed their payout to where they'll pay you out for the game, like, I think it was like 12, 18 months after the release to have you stay to get those royalties. But then now with these games going to PC, you're going to get royalties again. So it's like you're somewhat double dipping just to keep you in the company.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Sounds good, right?
I guess that's a good thing. Isn't it?
More money's good.
Yeah, more. I'm just saying. I just want to. This is going to affect some ways of Sony's DNA, I believe.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Their business structure. I think there's gonna. I don't know. Maybe it makes them more aggressive. Like I said, make more chances on, exclusive titles out there. Even though they're obviously, and it's funny we keep bringing up Sony. Like we're forgetting about the other players in here. Like, but it's funny. Me and Marvin were talking yesterday. Like Nintendo, like I was stating, like Nintendo don't give a fuck about anything else. They don't care about what any other company does. Like we're gonna do our own thing. We make our system so you can buy our games. That's it. We don't give a fuck. It's funny, like this move in a lot of ways don't really affect Nintendo at all. Like no one's bringing them up.
Yeah, because they have an underpowered system. They, like you said, they're catering to indies and their own games. Like with somebody finally woke up over there right before the Switch came out and realized why the hell are we trying so hard for anything else or rather not that they ever really tried, because ever since the GameCube fell off, that's it. It was like that's when they really said, you know what, fuck trying to stay relevant in the powerful hardware. Let's just make fun games, and that's that's to a fault. That's what almost killed them again with the Wii U with no third-party support. But with indies, though, that's what saved Nintendo, because they've been dry for a minute now, and they have they have a couple
this
of
moves makes them immune, but because the way they operate, this move makes them immune to it in a sense.
exactly.
Like, that's funny.
Yeah, because no one's playing Call of Duty over there, and their next Switch is probably going to be as powerful as a PlayStation Pro or some shit. Like, I have a feeling it's not going to be much. They want to make a profit off of the hardware, whereas Sony and Microsoft use the console as a loss leader. So that's the difference. They want profit on every console sold. I mean, look at that shit. $350 for an OLED fucking Switch that's already 4 years old, and OLED screens, like the fucking Vita had an OLED screen in 2011. So they're paying fucking pennies for that shit and charging $50 more, not keeping the price the same. So they're making tons of profit on them shit selling, and people buy them.
Yeah, I think they said that the expected cost of that OLED was like an extra $20.
Exactly. See, so it's fucking
How about
bullshit.
if it goes to full circle? Nintendo and Sony just say, "Fuck it, let's merge, baby."
Nah, Nintendo.
Let's
I don't
just
think will
merge it.
ever forgive, or Sony will never forgive Nintendo for what they did in the '90s. Ever since they double crossed them, I feel like
I
that
don't know about
honor
ever.
shit.
Like business.
You're right,
or
but it's gonna be I think it's
business
gonna be a
forces
minute.
relationships. How can I say? I'm not saying Microsoft's there to make this kind of thing happen right now or things like that. We got to see what the future holds. Can the new PlayStation Now subscription, fight off Game Pass? Will Game Pass become this monster that, has this leverage over the gaming community? Will Amazon, step up and purchase studios and become a big player in this space? The future obviously still up in the air, and still Sony's the king right now. Still,
The future is Google
right now.
Stadia.
it's the Stream Deck. It's gonna be the Stream Deck. The monster
Telling
that
you.
the Quiet Monster is coming alive real soon, baby.
Steam Deck. My whole 780 games are gonna be available on my Steam Deck.
Isn't this a hit
to
on
play.
Steam too? What Microsoft's purchase?
No, if anything, it might be good for Microsoft. I mean, for Valve, because Activision took their games away from Steam with using BattleNet. Now Microsoft has already been putting their games on Game Pass and Steam. You can play Halo right on Steam, and that means that there's a possibility they'll bring, and they said it, that they're dedicated to bringing their games to Steam. So it might include future Call of Duties.
Or
and
someone buy Steam. I don't know.
Valve? I don't know. I don't know if this guy will ever. Gabe Newell, right? I don't think he's gonna ever. That's his baby. I don't know.
No.
I think he'd have to die first.
I'm just wondering if there's gonna be a lot of a lot of sales going on.
Steam,
know.
whoever, that would be crazy.
How overrated do you think Steam charts is? The sales charts.
Oh, I don't know. I never really thought about it.
All right, I'm just saying it because, like, all right, my whole thing is still PC players really don't buy shit, and it's pretty much proven just with Cyberpunk. Biggest day one sales ever on PC. 8 million, whatever. If you look at GTA 5 on the 360 and other shit, it was like 13 million day one.
Well, yeah.
On less devices.
No, I agree. Like, I think it's not that people don't buy it. I think it's just a smaller crowd. And,
It's a bigger pool. So how is it a smaller crowd?
I mean, of enthusiasts. Like, I mean, people who are building machines to play games are people who are usually a little older, and I don't know. It's not the same. I mean, you're not buying your 12-year-old. I mean, unless you're me, like a fool. He has a fucking gaming PC, but most parents aren't buying their kids a gaming PC, and I think that's the gap. Like, teenagers and younger kids aren't in the PC gaming scene as much. They're there, but not as much as a console. Console will always dominate, I feel like, for the living room, for families and stuff like that. I think that's what it is. People buy games. I mean, look at fucking Valheim's, it's PC exclusive, 5 million in sales.
I got a question for you. When was the last time you seen a PC only title at the top of an MPD chart, which includes Steam sales?
Probably, like I said, well, at the top of a MPD, no. Like I said, console dominates, yeah. I agree.
Exactly.
No, I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. I think PC is still somewhat niche compared to consoles. Like I said, consoles cheaper. It's a cheaper buy-in, and and that's it. I think that's really what it is. It's a cheaper buy-in.
But my only thing would be is, I would love to see I feel I don't know any numbers. I feel like there's been an explosion with PC gaming the last 5 years. Though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I think that's a growing number, and especially now that we have all these shortages with the Xboxes and PlayStation, that's probably only feeding the PC market even more. Even though there's a shortage on graphics cards.
There's been over. I know people make multiple accounts or whatever, but Steam has had over 1 billion Steam accounts since like 2-3 years ago. So it shouldn't be a lack of users. Now, of course, as we've seen from their fucking little surveys, most of these motherfuckers are dealing with like 1050s and shit like that, which aren't like the greatest, but they can play the game. It ain't gonna be the most everybody's favorite fucking settings.
Right. Well, I think that's where something like the Steam Deck comes in, because then now you're getting to somewhere where it's a little bit more mainstream like that, depending on how they market it and depending on how, because and the performance, like I'm hopeful that the performance is going to be pretty good for games up till this year. And moving forward, that's not going to be the case, especially when more and more games rely on SSDs and have ray tracing and all that, but I mean, my son's running a 1060 video card from like years, that's from years ago. That's before the 20 series. And that shit still runs Call of Duty. We still play everything on that shit. And he's running a fucking 4-year-old processor and a 5 or 6-year-old video card. So, it's the price of entry when parts are available is there. But I just feel like, again, the common person, rather have a console. And I think that's the reason why sales may not be that big as far as games. And then you have so many other games that don't come out, on console, that it's only on PC. I don't know. I never really looked into it or thought about it, but I agree. I know it's the smallest.
Mobile still,
Well, yeah.
Makes the most money.
Right. But there's a reason why. There was a time where gaming manufacturers never made games for PC. Like, if it came out for PC, it came out way later. You know what I mean? And Capcom kind of still does that or whatever. But now it's a triple release. Like, everything comes out at the same time now, PC and console. That was 2010. That wasn't a thing,
Which is good. I think the community's getting smaller to play with each other too in these games, so that's pretty cool.
And then streaming has brought PC gaming back. There's a lot of people who stream out there in the millions now, and it's like and I think that's another reason why PC gaming has blown up.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of people that was like, they never had PC, but they got into streaming, and then they realized that it would be better if they had, they could do some stuff, if they could do better things, and you do need a more powerful PC, so, yeah.
I'm not saying you're ending the podcast now, but before you do, I would like to know thumbs up, thumbs down on this deal. Or predictions. I mean, is it going to work out, not work out?
I don't know. I'm kind of, because it's Activision, like I said, I'm worried because, like you said, more people are doing it, but I give it a thumbs up. I think they needed this. I think Activision was their image was in the shitter. Like, the worst Call of Duty in years came out. Like, no one's, I don't think anyone's been playing that shit. So I think, Overwatch 2 is nowhere to be seen. Fucking Diablo 4 is nowhere to be seen. Like, they're just not doing well right now. So while everyone, ran to Final Fantasy, like, this is their low point right now. I think now was, if they were going to get bought, this was the time for them to get bought. And I think it's good in the sense that this could bring back some of those beloved franchises. Like, maybe we'll get another StarCraft. We haven't gotten StarCraft in 10 years now, since part 2, maybe some of these games will start being pumped out. So I'm hopeful, and I'll be what's that, cautiously optimistic right now.
Well, I'm gonna say thumbs up for Microsoft, thumbs down for the gaming community. Because I'm just worried. I'm just worried about the fallout would be for such a big momentum move like this.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm worried about. Hopefully, I'm wrong. Hopefully, everything is cool and it's business as usual. But shit don't work like that usually when it comes to the to these companies.
I think it's somewhat thumbs up for competition because now it kind of levels the playing field a little bit with Sony, or it's gonna make Sony make moves now. And that's what I want to see. I want to see that 2011, 2012 Sony when they just had the fucking data breach and they started giving out free games, and that's when they were like Last of Us was dropping and heavy hitters were coming out, and that's what kind of changed their whole image. That whole data breach and all the bullshit that they were going through, they flipped their whole image around. So it's like I hated PlayStation back then. I was like, fuck PlayStation. I was happy when Final Fantasy was coming to 360. I was happy for Microsoft back then. But then I got a PS4 day one. Once they said that whole online shit, I got a PS4 day one. After not having a PS3 for most of the generation, I think I got a PS3 right around the time Last of Us came out, and enjoyed the shit out of that. And I was very happy for Sony back then. That's what got me to that's part of the reason why I went with PlayStation this year. So I want to see Sony pressed a little bit. It's again, they're still behind Sony, and I think that's why it's going to go through because like a lot of people are saying they're still third behind Tencent and Sony. Microsoft now is third. So it's like,
Yep.
I think it's good to kind of like force Sony to do more. I want to see more out of Sony. What about you, Marv?
2 thumbs down.
Oh yeah.
Fuck out of here. Although there is one thing I'm glad. I'm glad that, like, let's say for instance that Xbox decided that all of this shit is gonna be exclusive. All right, keeping it to ourselves. There really isn't nothing there that I'm like heartbroken.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, even though I pay $100 every year for fucking Call of Duty, outside of like the first week or two, Ezra will never catch me online as soon as he fucking boots up playing that shit. You gotta invite me for that. Fucking Tony Hawk, I realized I ain't that age to be playing it no more. My thumbs ain't there. Done. Spyro, I bought it. I still don't know what the boot screen looks like. Know what I mean? Diablo, same thing. Still don't know what the boot screen looked like. I bought part 3, the ultimate package for like $20. Overwatch, you gotta invite me to that. Fucking, what else? What else is a big one over there? I know I'm missing something.
No Candy
WoW,
Crush?
never cared about WoW. Never cared about Candy Crush. Crash Bandicoot, I might miss a little bit. I mean, I bought the old ones that I never played, but I did beat part 4. But that's about it. Like they ain't that heartbreaking that it's just like no, like don't take my Need for Speed away. You know?
Exactly. I think that's why I'm like, that's why I'm up. Like I said, cautiously optimistic that there's a chance that they'll make some of these franchises better and than what they were, and maybe they can finally give them a little more creative freedom and bring those things back, build that image back up. And I think that if they make that the priority to bring the image of these games and Activision games back to what they used to be, because when a game, I literally bought Overwatch off of Blizzard's reputation alone. I knew barely shit about that game. I knew it was a shooter. That's all I knew about it. I said, who makes that? Blizzard? Bought it. That's literally the only reason why. Now, today, I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? I would definitely be waiting and seeing. But there was a time where Blizzard, it took forever to release the game, but when they released, it was fantastic. I was happy with Diablo 3.
Overwatch was a banger.
Yeah, exactly. And Overwatch was amazing. That's what I'm saying. I bought it only off of their reputation. I want to see that come back. I want, I'd love to see like knowing like Diablo comes out, it's just gonna be a narrative. No they're not gonna bog you down with a million microtransactions like they tried to do with Part 3 and it failed. So it's like, so hopefully, like if they did, I'm hoping for something like that maybe some of these games that don't really require microtransactions, they can come out and that's it. That's really all I care about. If they shit the bed, Call of Duty, somebody replace it. You know what I mean? Like, and I play on PC regardless, so I won't, if it comes out, as long as it comes out on Steam or Game Pass, I'm good. Wait, I'm going to ask you, do you play on PC at all, Marv? Or do you have a capable machine if you wanted to?
No, I got a 2080 laptop that's overclocked.
Oh, okay. So then you're not.
So
fine anyway.
I can handle most things fine enough, but it's like as many games as I do have on PC, I rarely ever play it. I think the last game I played was Hades 3 months ago that I beat it.
Mm.
That's about it. And then before that, I can't tell you. I know I bought and tried Disco Elysium, and I fucking hated it.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
wow, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this.
I don't know. It felt like a point and click adventure.
Well,
and I
that's
was
what it
just
is.
like,
Yeah, that's
I'm not
all-
here for it.
Yeah, it's 100% a point and click. Yeah.
I need more action in my life.
No, I feel
Not
that. It's definitely a game
Curse
that.
of Monkey Island shit.
Yeah. It's definitely a game where it's just massive amount of targets. So I get that. All right.
But yeah, I'll be watching those Epic Game sales. You know what I mean? I'll buy it even though Lord knows when I'll ever fucking touch
Or
this shit.
I get the free game every week rather. Yeah, I got the game out
Yeah, I'll be checking sometimes.
every Thursday. Well, Thursday to Wednesday. So tomorrow's the last day. Don't forget to get it. I just get whatever because I'm just like, I barely buy anything to Epic anyway. I'll take everything free. Fuck it.
Oh nah, they be giving out like $5 coupons every once in a while.
Yeah, the $10 joints. Yup. All right. So I mean, it is what it is. I agree. And like, it's really like I said, it was exciting to hear about it. I don't really think it's gonna affect me directly, but like I said, I'm hoping to see some good come out of it, and I hope that Microsoft makes good on that. Like, you know, and we'll see what happens with Game Pass. I mean, it'll be cool to have some of those on Game Pass. So fuck it. But now that Ezra's a full blown X-Bot, are you guys gonna stay friends? Can you even be friends with somebody like that?
Be friends
Yeah.
with Xbox. I can't believe how stupid they are when they act like one, but I can still be friends with Xbox.
Oh, okay.
Well, actually, you know what? Let me correct myself. See, what makes you an Xbot isn't the fact that you play Xbox. What makes you an Xbot is when you sound stupid making arguments for Xbox.
Yeah.
Which I
That's
don't
what makes
do,
you a
so-
bot.
No, I
So
know.
he'll
I
be
know.
alright.
Which I don't do, baby. But it's funny though. My two favorite titles, I guess the one I played the most, Call of Duty and Overwatch, are Microsoft now. So. Those are the two biggest titles I've played over the years, and everything. And I'm still excited for Overwatch 2.
The day he goes, fuck God of War, Call of Duty is the GOAT. Then that's when you're a bot.
Even though I hate. Listen, Call of Duty has been a shit show, and someone wrote that the last two games or Call of Duty multiplayer games have been just $60 DLCs, and I tend to agree. That's what they are for fucking Warzone. You know, like I didn't like the last two. I'm not really in love with the last two multiplayers. The last one I enjoyed was Modern Warfare, the 2019. So
Yeah.
you know,
I enjoyed Black Ops. I played the shit out of Black Ops. Vanguard was it's all right.
most
it's there.
people play these games just to level up their guns so they could take it to Warzone. That's what people do it for, and that's what they call it DLCs. And I tend to agree with that shit.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh well.
waiting for that Overwatch 2, baby. Let's go.
That's what I'm saying. Like now, hopefully that, like I said, I just want to see games. Give me fucking games. That's it. Give me the fucking games so I can play them, and I can shit on them. Nah, but speaking of, like you said, stupid arguments. Any little thing I said about like its thing on Sony and it, them not even, the Xbox came at me on Twitter. It was pretty entertaining.
Really?
Yeah, they were getting mad. And I'm like, yo, calm down. I'm not saying that, but would Sony ever give up Spider-Man? I'm just like, it's not the same thing. Like I was like, oh, you're talking about a game versus microtransactions. Like that's what we're talking about here. What was it? I don't think they did it this past year, but I think when the pandemic first came out, they made like $1 billion in 3 months off of microtransactions. You know what I'm saying? And a big part of that was Call of Duty. That's why I'm like, fuck out of here. They're not gonna throw away potentially $2 billion a year because they don't want to keep it off Sony just to hurt Sony. I'm like, wouldn't that hurt your pockets?
And first of all, you will hurt yourself. I think, Microsoft will get a bad reputation if they just try to keep it exclusive too. And it doesn't make business sense to just make Call of Duty and all these other titles just exclusive to themselves. I don't. It just doesn't make business sense. You keep some of these titles.
That was what was supposed to happen with the ZeniMax deal, though.
Right, but what I'm saying, I think it's just way more money at stake. That's the difference.
One more money, and these these titles are much bigger than the ZeniMax deal. Like it's not even close into the, what kind of money they're giving up and the emotion that comes to some of these games compared to that deal. I just don't see. It just doesn't make business sense at the beginning.
Right.
Long term, maybe use that as, like I said, use that as a power move, leverage.
Right.
I can see that happening. But short term, it just doesn't make any sense.
Exactly, because of how mainstream. I feel like Call of Duty Warzone way more mainstream. And I'm talking about, again, you have to remember the children who play these fucking games. That's who's playing the, like, my son's finally starting to enjoy things like he was messing around with the Xbox, and he finally started getting into like things like Skyrim and some of the Bethesda games because he saw them on Game Pass, and he's finally like messing around with that. But he could care less about story-based games. He was all about Fortnite and Call of Duty.
It's all about these big multiplayer, microtransaction games. That's where the money makers are at.
And that's zone, yeah.
And if you Microsoft, you put Call of Duty game. I mean, day one on Game Pass, and you still sell it on Sony, and you're still going to be milking it when it comes to Warzone in the center. You know what I mean? It's like you're still going to be making.
And
that
that's
money.
why Minecraft's still on PlayStation, and it finally went multi-platform there. They had to like finally like make that deal to bring in multiplayer. So you can play it Minecraft because of how big it is with the kids, and that's what I'm saying. That's the only reason. If
it was a big success for Microsoft with the Minecraft thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Multiplat,
and that's the only reason. If it something like StarCraft, Diablo, Crash and Spyro,
I can see that exclusive.
Exactly, those are going to be, I think, Game Pass exclusive all the way. I do not see those being on PlayStation at all. But Call of Duty and Overwatch, I'll be surprised if it's sooner than 2024 that they do that. Because
like I said, I can see a lot of spin-offs happening off of these titles. You know what I mean? Like, let's say they make a Call of Duty Rainbow Six style type of game, or I can see them venturing off and be like, all right, let's use, like a Star Wars is making every single damn show off of these characters they have. I can see Microsoft doing something of that nature. All right, let's make a Call of Duty.
Well, they could do that. I think Overwatch has that potential. That's what everyone's saying. Like things like Arcane and the other one from Dota, Dota's show.
Oh, you mean like the shows? Yeah.
Yeah, like
or make an Overwatch, story-based game off of one character, like Winston, and then you have all the characters within the story.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like that has
like that.
That has a ton of potential. Yeah, that's what they need. That's something that I was actually talking to Fefer about earlier today. I was like, not for nothing, Microsoft needs like do like Netflix, constant content, smaller games, but that are well done. Like, that kind of hit home or are worth playing through, or, things like that. Like not everything has to be a 4-year AAA, or buying everything. Have a few smaller studios that are, that make a game that have like a 12 to 18 month budget time frame, and you make smaller games, smaller, like, edible, small bite size, you know what I mean? Things that are worth having Game Pass for.
Daniel takes edibles. And you said it here first. G.
But
XL podcast.
I think we covered everything. I don't unless there's any other things we want to cover. I think we covered pretty much everything we wanted to do tonight.
All right, before today, what were you thinking about the nonsense with PlayStation should bring everything to PC day and date? Well, actually, the biggest thing is, why is it that it's always PlayStation needs to bring a day and date, and then nobody gives a fuck about Nintendo ever doing the same thing?
That's true. I don't know. Me personally, I don't really care. I like having a PlayStation, so I would prefer that they didn't do it, because then it takes value away from my PlayStation. So I wouldn't want that to happen. If it did, I don't know. I mean, I'm like on the fence about it. Like I enjoy having my PC. I like looking at games, but like Days Gone that I told you, that I was happy to play it on PlayStation. Like I could have bought it for cheap on PC, but I already owned it. I'm like, even if it was $5 on PC, I don't know. It just didn't feel right, and I would prefer to just play on my PlayStation. But I don't know. I don't think day and date. I feel like it would be better if it was like maybe spaced out 6 months or a year later. Like do it a year later. You know what I mean? Like the way Epic Games, games come to Epic first and go to Steam later or whatever. If they did something like that, I think that would be, to me, would make way more sense. You know what I mean? It gives you a value of your console. You get to play it first, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then, other people can play it later. But day and date, I don't know. I don't really care. Like, I wouldn't be, like, angry about it, but I don't really care either. It's just, like I said, just my own group, my own selfish reasons. I would just, I want there to still be value in owning my fucking PlayStation, or else it becomes a pointless device.
Ezra?
To answer your question, no one cares about Nintendo in the sense.
Oh yeah, and that's who. Yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah, in the sense of the moves they make, because they know Nintendo's gonna do their own thing. It's like,
well,
Nintendo...
no. The thing is that everybody says this is what PlayStation should do.
Yeah, I know that.
But nobody ever asked, why doesn't Nintendo do that also?
Because
that's the thing. Like, they can do whatever they want, but what I'm saying is nobody ever asked Nintendo, yo, bring that Metroid Dread day one PC right meow.
Because I think most Nintendo, first of all, for some reason the console wars is only between Sony and Microsoft. Like, and I think Nintendo people know it's a moot point. Nintendo's gonna do whatever the fuck they want to do, and they know they're very controlling when it comes to their properties. They're gonna keep it to themselves, and they know how Nintendo's run. And like I said, I just think it's because Sony's quote unquote the king, and the console wars are between these two, companies. And I think it's just an emotional aspect of the gaming community that pulls this shit. I'm not part of these fanboy wars and the gaming community and the arguments that's being said. Some of it's good, and a lot of it is just, I don't know what the fuck you talking about. Like, you just come up with this imagination of, like, this is a business. No matter, I'm a sports fan. I'm gonna bring it up again. It's a business, number one. That's how they fucking operate. And you, with your imaginary solutions and what the company should do and this and that, a lot of times make no fucking sense. And you attach emotions to it. The companies do not give a fuck about you. Sony, Microsoft don't give a fuck about you. They're gonna do what they do for their dollar bill. That's it. They're gonna act like they care, but it's all about the dollar. And your solutions make no fucking sense. It makes no financial sense for them to do your emotional, fixes. So, whatever. Like, would it be cool if they dropped it day and date? Yeah, I guess that would be nice. But Sony, wants to milk it for their system at first. That's the reason why. And then they'll drop it on a later date. And that's just icing on the cake when Sony drops it on PC when they want to.
I think it's also because the games started to come to PC ever since they released Horizon, and then Days Gone, and then now you have God of War just came out, and you have what's it called? Uncharted is on the way. I think that's where this conversation is stemming from. So Microsoft is doing it already, and now since PlayStation is releasing games on PC, you don't have, besides multiplats like fucking Monster Hunter or some shit, Nintendo doesn't have anything on PC. So I think that's really the reason. I think they would be in the conversation if they had games on PC. I think that's
Monster Hunter by Capcom?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. But it was exclusive to Switch when it dropped. Rise dropped. That's the only reason why I'm saying, like, cross-platform. And now now Capcom just released it this past week on PC, but it's not coming to PlayStation or Xbox. So, yeah.
And I was gonna say, the strategy, Microsoft says they want to go console-less eventually. Sony wants their console, and they want their consoles to sell, so that's what they want to keep their exclusives on the console, because they want you to buy their PlayStation 5. Yeah. They want you in their ecosystem, their hardware. They want you to be in their hardware. So, of course, it makes sense to just hold back their games from PC, because if we talked about earlier, PC gaming has exploded, has on a growth in the last 5 years. Why would they go out and buy Sony?
Exactly.
Because they're going to get a day and day one. That makes no, so Sony wants to make their money. It's a business strategy. That's all it is.
And why don't you think they should do day and date on their first party titles?
Because it seems stupid to me personally. Most of their money is made from third party revenue, whether that's games, whether that's DLC, et cetera, et cetera. If you know that everything is coming to PC, There's no reason for you to buy the box, which in turn means you're not going to be in the storefront, which means all of that third party 30% money is out the fucking window. So instead of you getting fucking, they buy the PS5, they buy, I don't know, fucking 1 or 2 exclusives and whatever third party that they might happen to buy because of friends or whatever. Now you got one sale at $50 where you're losing 30%. Or multiple sales of $50 where you lose 30% regardless, but that's it. Any other potential revenue stream coming from the PC market is not going to fucking happen. And if you know they're both dropping the same day, you're going to be like, hell, I'm going to have ultra widescreen support on this shit day one. Why the fuck would I need to play it on a fucking console?
Right.
Of course, you're going to have like, more convenience, easier to set up, whatever. But for motherfuckers that like want a game to the extreme, it's like, why would I buy it on console when I got a fucking 3070, 3080 that outperforms the console to begin with?
Right. So that's, I mean, I agree. The only way wouldn't mind is if I could do the same thing I do with the Xbox now is if I could play a PlayStation game on my, on my computer and I want to see it in the, like you said, ultra widescreen, I want to do some shit with it. But then I can jump back to my PlayStation and continue there and when I want to sit on the couch. That would be the only thing, but it's really not that serious. I really don't care. I actually have an HDMI that runs to one of my monitors anyway. So when when I want to play at my desk, like, or stream it on my Twitch channel, I can easily just do that, and then play it on my TV when I'm not streaming. So it's really not a big deal. But yeah, like I don't know, from a business standpoint, at this point in time it doesn't make sense. Because they're still selling PlayStations and it's hot and people want them and they should but I think it'd be a while before it would even hurt any of their sales because again the price of entry to get to get into PC game if you want it at a higher fidelity than what you would get on the PS5 now is gonna run you a lot of money, over $1,000. Which a lot of
but
people
motherfuckers just want to be able to run this shit.
Yeah.
At the way motherfuckers is playing now. So like you get a goddamn, I don't know, 1060 Ti, make that shit at fucking 720p where it runs 60 frames per second, you good.
Yeah, but like you said,
because you can at least play it.
The PC community is smaller than the console community. That's why I'm like, it's not going. I don't think they're gonna do it anytime soon.
Man. It is not smaller than the console community.
But so you think there's just way more PC players, but they don't. How you think they're getting their games? Like, just you mean like piracy?
Oh, most of them, yeah.
I think it's been harder lately, but you're right. I mean, it's been.
You seen? Listen, fucking both God of War and Horizon were cracked like day one.
Oh yeah.
And they even cracked Horizon where they cracked it to where you could play the single player and the fucking online within a week.
Wow.
So it's like, the publishers be running into that problem where it's like, all right, you could run the anti-fucking piracy shit, but the more effective ones are the ones that are gonna fucking fuck up the performance of your game, and motherfuckers don't want that shit. So then the easier to break ones do less damage performance, but then it's still gonna get fucking cracked anyways. Mm-hmm. So then you got motherfuckers that be like, fuck it. If they fucking steal it, they steal it. There's no fucking point in it. It's going to happen one way or another. Either the fans are going to get mad at us or it's going to get cracked anyways.
Yeah.
So why bother?
No, I don't think that's as much. It's not as prevalent as it used to be. I feel like that was why PC gaming almost died out. But I feel like lately, like you said, in the last 5 years, it's been a big resurgence. And I think if it was that rampant where they weren't making any money on PC, they would have stopped a while ago. I feel like.
Nah, it's not that they don't make any money. It's just it's not the same money as consoles for the most part.
Right. Because you're forced to
like
buy them there.
I remember when I think it was, what was the first one? Was it the first one that came out, Horizon?
Yeah,
on PC.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
So I went to, I think it was the Pirate Bay or whatever Pirate Bay was at that time. I just wanted to take a quick peek. but I remember going the day it launched, and it was like 50,000 seeds. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, that's seeds at the same time. Like, they don't count the motherfuckers that take themselves off after they download it and shit.
Right.
So that was mind-boggling. But
yeah,
I don't know. And the whole thing is like, even though it was like that one in particular was like a top seller for like a bunch of weeks, it was like in the top 10, whatever. To this day, I haven't heard any new milestones for Horizon Zero Dawn, like total sales.
Right.
Like, how? Why? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, at best, you guess that they hit at least 1 million, since they had sold like fucking 500,000 or 700,000 in like the first month or some shit like that. But they literally haven't said jack shit since they hit 10 million sales total.
I see. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I guess I was under. I mean, I was. I just feel like not. It's just doesn't feel like it's been that way. But you're right. I mean, people are still pirating and stuff like that. I just feel like these companies. Like, why would Sony go out of their way to do this then? For if it wasn't worth it, I just feel. I mean, it's worth it enough.
Well, no. The whole thing is, one, you're pleasing your devs by getting paid something to stay for free.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you could fucking get brand new players. Now, it ain't gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be fucking high, but you're gonna have all these players that it's like, all right, I played fucking Horizon Zero Dawn. I have no idea when fucking Forbidden West is gonna come out to PC, but this shit is literally coming out for the PS5 next month.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can play it now, and it's gonna be it should play fucking well enough, seeing as it's the PS5 that can be played on PS4 even.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you can have people that will get the console just to play the next iteration sooner.
No, that makes sense. Like I said, I mean, I like having my console, so I'd prefer they didn't do that, but that's just my own selfish reasons. I really, for other people, I mean, I don't know if they feel like that was the move, then I guess they have. I would assume they have the data, to do it. And if that's the move they want to make, should they do it? I don't know. Who fucking knows? But personally, I like I said, I like being able to buy games on the PlayStation and feel good about it instead of like knowing that it's fucking right there. It's hard. Like, this is the first generation where it's been hard to buy multiplats on directly on the PlayStation, because then I'm like, it could just look that much better on my fucking computer. But yeah. All right. Well, is there anything else you want to add, Ezra? Anything you want to say?
Thank you for having me back on the VGXL podcast.
Oh, you said it right this time.
Oh, I'm proud of you.
That's how I do it, baby.
Nice.
I learn from my mistakes that I make multiple times during shows.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, then thank you for everybody who's been listening. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. Again, don't forget to follow at VGXL Podcast or Idiot Ezra at Idiot Ezra, and yeah, and Marvin L. Gumby. Wait, Gumby what, 7?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Have a good night. Peace.
Buenos nachos.
Doodles.